11 is the new one for Klay Thompson's latest signature shoe. Let me explain. It's not because Klay doesn't know how to count, but because the Anta KT 11 is heavily inspired by Klay's first signature basketball sneakers, which is memorable in a way because it's been 10 years since Anta launched the KT1. But what if I tell you that the KT11 is actually a mix of both the old and the new? You see, I've been writing sneaker stories and posting shoe reviews for more than 10 years. In fact, I reviewed the Anta KT1 back in 2015. I posted a video for that review and I remember playing in my pair until the bottoms fell off. The release of the shoe was a big move from Anta back then, and Klay's signature line has grown ever since. With the upcoming Anta KT11, a lot of things can be said. From the upper material down to the outsole, the shoe echoes the past by reimagining it in several ways and goes on to have new things as well. If you're a fan of Klay Thompson and his shoes, or just basketball shoes in general, there are a couple of things you might want to know. So let's have a quick conversation. So here's the part in the KT1 where Klay Thompson's 11th signature shoe draws inspiration from. The upper in the KT11 is where most of that inspiration is on full display, specifically the back section. The shoe has a plastic cage that looks like triangles or sails. Compare this to the back section of the KT1. The design is actually inspired by a hawk. That's according to no less than the designer of the KT1. The man behind the KT1 design is Brent James. He says that after watching Klay in person in one of the NBA games, he figured Klay was like a hawk. According to Brent, Klay hovers quietly, strikes quickly, and makes a seamless retreat back to his surroundings with little to no fanfare. Brent figured that Klay had a sleek and effective manner of playing the game, and so the imagery of a hawk became the driving theme and source of inspiration for the design. Now, the image of a hawk was used to build a unique framing for the KT1. The sharp angles and lines reflect the hawk's wingtips when flared out. If you take a look at the KT11, a similar design feature is used. Even the feathered lattice aesthetic on the back section is a direct reference to the angular mesh vents in the midfoot area of the KT1. And then there's Klay's logo. The Anta KT1 is, of course, the first basketball shoe to have Klay's signature logo. According to designer Brent James, the logo subtly incorporates Klay's initials, which include the yellow segment forming a T. Part of the logo is also Klay's jersey number through the slashes forming the number 11. The KT11 features that same logo, but this time it's on the outsole. Specifically, it's on the heel section, along with the line with the 11th pick in the 2011 draft, which calls back to the time when Klay was drafted into the NBA. It's a statement that ties back to how the KT11 revisits the time when it all started for both Klay and Anta. You see, but not everything in the KT11 is a rehash of the KT1. Take for example the back section of the midsole. There are two new logos, a hand gesturing a sign for 3 with a crown and the number 31. The tongue also features a new logo which seems to indicate Klay Thompson 31, but it doesn't end with the design because the tech is also where the KT11 takes on a new form. First off, the upper seems to have 3 thin layers. The outer layer has woven threads mostly aligned vertically. In the middle is a layer of fine mesh, and beneath all of this is what looks like a fuse-like material. While this setup may look similar to some earlier versions of Klay's shoes, it's actually new, and the setup could make the KT11 lighter from previous models. And then you have the midsole. It's fully caged in the KT11, and there's no indication at this point that Nitro Edge foam is used. You probably recall that Nitro Edge foam has been a staple in Klay Thompson's signature shoes in recent years, but this time around you won't find the familiar Nitro Edge logo in the KT11. There's a good chance that the shoe will be using a different cushioning setup. The outsole uses thick grooves for the herringbone traction pattern. It's what you typically see in outdoor basketball shoes, and this thick groove design is in fact something that has hasn't been done since the KT7. But what makes this setup new is that it's the first time that Klay's shoes will have mostly herringbone with thick grooves. But who knows, there could be more surprises. It's been a decade since Anta released Klay's first signature shoes, and I think it's only fitting for Anta to celebrate that milestone by revisiting the past while bringing something new. You're probably thinking that the KT11 embodies that ideal, and I think you're right. Expect photos of more colorways in the coming weeks because they will probably highlight some memorable moments in Klay's career. Nothing is known yet about the retail price and release date, including the other tech specs, but that could change soon because if you recall, the KT10 was officially unveiled mid-September last year. The KT11 will most likely take the spotlight before September ends, but let me know what you think. Hey man, thanks for watching. You can support me by joining my channel membership. Thanks, and I hope to see you on the next one.